raised in the Lone Star Land, with boots on my feet and dreams in my hand. A little sassy but a whole lot of grace. You'll see that fire when you look at my face. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Barbecue smoke, Friday night lights, cheering for the Astros under Texas skies. A little bit stubborn, a whole lot of charm. This big old heart will keep you warm. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Barbecue smoke, Friday night lights, cheering for the Astros under Texas skies. A little bit stubborn, a whole lot of charm. This big old heart will keep you warm. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. From the blue bonnet fields to the city streets, every step I take feels like home to me. With a little sass and a lot of pride, this Texas girl's got nothing to hide. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Gummy shoe prints, laid them down the street. Chocolate wrappers hiding secrets sweet. They don't miss a beat, they've got a knack. With licorice ropes pulling answers back. Twist the wrapper to reveal the truth. A sticky web spun by a candy scoop. No sour lies can escape the grip. These lollipops always crack the whip.
Well, hello, my friends. How are y'all doing today? Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate y'all so much. Thanks for coming in late with me. I apologize for coming on later, but hey, Lolly duties called, and I got a reminder of what my life used to be like, picking one kid up from school, taking him to town to go do his lessons with his trainer, running back after his to the school to pick up sister. It was crazy. Anyways, sorry guys, but we made it. We made it. We made it. Thank you all so much for being here. And hello to our new member, Lollipop Girl. Cute name. Welcome, welcome. Daisy Dukes. Always good to have you with us, sweetie. Hey, Keely. How are you doing? I hope you're feeling better. Good to have you. Hey, Cecilia. Let's see here. Who else? Miss Rhonda. Hello. Miss Kathy. Always good to have you with us. Let's see here. Hello, Michelle. Hi, TJ. Felicia, how are you doing? Good to have everybody. Hey, Daniel. Do, 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 do. All righty. We got us a small crowd, but we got us a crowd. And here comes our friend Bobby. How are you, darling? Welcome, welcome. All right. Well, let's start out. We got a new member. She said she just joined YouTube, so found our channel and became a member. And so, hey, let's welcome our new member to the South.
Welcome, welcome to the South. We break that good stuff out. We got enough to go around. So can I get a amen? Welcome to the South.
Welcome, welcome. And you will be able to join us for our true crime trivia on our members live this week. Guys, it's looking more and more like Saturday is going to have to be our day for our members live. So much is going on this week. It's the last week of school for the kiddos. They have stuff like crazy going on this week. And so between all of that, Thursday I get my shots in my back. Hopefully I'll get some relief from the back pain. And all the things is looking more and more like we're going to have to plan for Saturday. So maybe everybody can make it on Saturday. But thank you all for being here. And hello to everybody in the bushes. I appreciate y'all all being here. Anybody that comes in on replay, hello. We love you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Blue Eyes, how you doing? There's Peggy. Hello, hello. Come on in. Come on in. Thank you, Keely. Thank you, darling. You're so sweet. I tell you, we got a good group of people over here who really care, who don't judge, who don't make false accusations and all the things against each other. I just love every one of y'all, and I'm so appreciative to have y'all on my side of the street. Hey, got a secret? How you doing? Bobby, how's that boy doing? I sure hope he's feeling better already. I really do. I've been thinking about him a lot. Okay. Keely wants to know, will everybody be her friend? Keely wants to be friends with everybody. Oh, Bobby, that is so good to hear. Yay. That's awesome. Good deal. Good deal. I tell you, when kiddos are miserable, everybody in the house is miserable, but it's always good to hear that it's so good to hear that he's doing better. So, yep, Keely, you got some friends in chat here. I'm telling you, I agree, TJ. If more people would be like Keely, the world would be a perfect place. That's right. Yes, Bobby, got your email. Got a couple of emails already with Christmas trees and different things and all the things that mean, something to y'all for Christmas. I'll be putting that little slideshow together. We'll have it ready to go for our party on the 22nd. And we'll just have all of our good stuff put in one place and everybody can see and enjoy it. So if you have anything you want to send in, even if it's just something that means something to you, that's all that matters. It matters to us if it matters to you. Before we get too deep into things, my friends, please, please, please keep my granddaughter in your prayer tomorrow. If you don't mind, just send up some good vibes for her just to keep her nerves settled. Tomorrow is her UIL event and competition, and she's excited, but she's nervous. So I told her I would be praying her through it, that when she gets up there and realizes her nerves are calm, it's because we got you covered in prayer, girl. And she was just like, man. So, yeah. If y'all don't mind tomorrow, keep my granddaughter in your prayers just for confidence. You know, when you get to those competitions while you're in school and stuff, and it's such a big deal, and the pressure is so heavy for these kiddos, and they are so expected to do so good in all the things. And and I told her, I said, hey, you get out there, you do your best, and that's all anybody could ever ask for. And if your best is not better than somebody else's best, it's okay. When you walk away from there, you're going to walk away feeling good because you did your best. And that's all we can ask for. She did get first place last year, and she got first place the year before. So pressure is on for her to get 3 years in a row. So, anyways, we're excited for her. And then Friday, I'm going to do an Wednesday this week. We'll probably go on about 4 o'clock because I got to leave shortly after the live to go to my other granddaughter's band Christmas concert. So I'll tell her everybody be thinking about her tomorrow and praying and sending good vibes her way. She'll be so proud. Okay. All right. Sounds good, Cecilia. Sounds good. Well, welcome in everybody. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I do apologize for, like I said, for being so late. And I just wanted to play this one piece that we're going to listen to today. Narcissism is a real thing with a lot of these cases that we hear. And well, it's Miss Rhonda, it is for storytelling. The UIL competition with the elementary kids and the intermediate kids are different subjects that they can do. They even have UIL for chess. They have UIL for math, all these things. And they have after school tutorials to help them work on their skills and things. But the band concert, she plays the flute. So super proud of her. But a lot of you may have heard of the Harmony Montgomery case. A lot of you may not have heard about the Harmony Montgomery place or story, but her father and her stepmother got full custody of her. And we're fixing to listen to little Harmony Montgomery's story. And I want you to keep in mind the red flags when it comes to in narcissistic traits and behaviors tend to grow the more you get away with things. And this is a classic case. Oh, thank you, Texas Plain Jane. I put the Highland cows up here in their little Christmas stockings and scarves for our beautiful Blue Eyes, just to tell her how much we love her. I love her, and she loves them cows. Bobby, thank you so much. You're always so kind over here. Thank you. We appreciate you so, so much. Big hugs to you. You like that blue? I'm glad you did. You like it. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. But I know there's been several that have told me they haven't heard of her case. It's one of the most heartbreaking cases. I couldn't even I had just started out in this genre of true crime over here, and I just couldn't. I could not cover her case. It broke my heart. It just broke my heart. That precious sweet baby. But her father is in prison. And folks, I want you to pay close attention to this story because some things that get told and how they went about getting him, it goes back to some things we've been talking about with Sebastian's case as well. No, Daisy, to this day, her remains have yet to be found. And the sad part is, they're pretty sure that for about a year, her father carried her around in a ice chest cooler and would just leave the cooler sitting out in the snow. It's absolutely gross. But the more and more people get away with things, the more and more they feel so confident in themselves and what they've done. I want to oh, no. I thought it loaded on here. Hold on, guys, because I need to load this on here. I thought it was already on there. It didn't go through on my end. Hold on, I'm so sorry. I had pulled up and got ready the definition for us to look at for narcissist. And I want to show you guys because it is a real thing. It is so real. And so many people have that trait to them. And the more things they do, the more things they get away with. Man, it just intensifies it. I know, right? Got a secret. They carried her little body around in bags and in the stroller and whatever else they needed to do. I'm telling you, oh, but they couldn't find her body. I know, Daisy, her ex should still be locked up. Watch from the beginning. He did more than that. Yeah, he also had KM, his wife, bring her to his work and kept her in the fridge while he worked. Yeah. You know, this is just an overview of learning all the details about she's nowhere to be found. This doesn't go into all those tiny little details. But when you have a person that is carrying their child's body pieces around and keeping them so close to their vest that nobody else can come across them and you can't get in trouble that way, but yet you're going to go to jail, you're going to court, you're going to be found guilty, and you're going to still not give up the location of that little girl. That is typical narcissistic behavior. Because you see, here it tells us an overview is narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need to seek too much attention and want people to admire them. People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence, they are not sure of their self-worth and are easily upset by the slightest criticism. Sounds like half of the people on YouTube, if you ask me, but that's beside the point. That's not what we're talking about. But as we go in and to listen to this story is done so perfectly by this creator, and I just love the way she has put this together to do an overview leading up to prior to the father being arrested. Criticism, it means somebody's critiquing everything you do or has something to say about the way you do things. And so here we go. Let me get our banner. Let's get all of our things, our ducks in a row here so that we get, because we're going to use the Copyright Act of 1976 for fair use purposes. We're not going to criticize. We will comment, but we're going to research because so many cases that we do involve narcissistic people. And I'll be honest with you, I think every person in this world has a touch of narcissism. I believe all of us, you know, but the majority of us, we would rather good be done in a child's life than to have our feelings being all bent out of shape. You know what I'm saying? All righty, here, let's get going. Let's watch this. This isn't very, very long. And the link to this channel is in the description of this video. Please go check out her stories. And if you haven't followed the Harmony Montgomery case, man, just a little trigger warning because this one will get you. Oh, I agree. Got a secret. I think she does too. That is my opinion for sure. And I got it sped up a little bit. And there, I do have the closed captions on. So that's right, Keely. We all make mistakes. We are not perfect. The only person who is perfect is God. Yes. So here we go.
The story of Harmony Montgomery gained national attention when on December 31st, 2021, the Manchester Police Department held a press conference asking the public for help in locating her. This wasn't just another missing child. Harmony's story took hold and captivated people all over the world because the police were searching for a little girl who had just been reported missing, and yet nobody could confirm seeing her in over 2 years.
Is that too fast for you guys? Y'all let me know if that is too fast because I can slow it down just a tad. Is that okay or not okay? Okay, it's not too fast. All right, here we go. Let's listen some more.
Hi, I'm Steph Green, and today we're talking about the story of Harmony Montgomery, who's been missing since the end of 2019. Harmony was born to Crystal Sorey and Adam Montgomery on June 7th of 2014 in Massachusetts. She was a beautiful little girl with blonde hair and a great big smile. Unfortunately, her life would be filled with challenges from the start, including being born with blindness in her right eye. So to help her see, she wore big pink glasses. And being the girly girl she was, they were often paired with Minnie Mouse attire, bows, dresses, and pigtails. She didn't let her challenges bring her down. Harmony's personality was as big as her smile, with people describing her as precocious, sassy, active, curious, and a spitfire. my kind of girl. Sadly, Harmony was not born into a good situation, being the daughter of two 20-year-olds with heavy drug addictions. So by the time Crystal was pregnant with Harmony, she'd been using drugs for a while, and her relationship with Harmony's dad had turned violent.
So Harmony's mother and her dad, they had that trouble past. They had a tumultuous relationship. And we're good. We're not on normal. We're still above normal. But yeah, this girl does talk a little faster, so I slowed it down a little bit. So, like I said, guys, pay close attention to some little details in this story because it pertains to what we have been talking about.
Recalls him yelling, hitting, even choking her while pregnant. Not the kind of environment you want to bring a baby into. So what happened after little Harmony was born? And how did things go so wrong that Harmony was ripped away from her family? By the time Crystal gave birth, Adam was no longer in the picture. But being a mom gave her a new outlook on life. So while Harmony was a baby, Crystal worked to get sober and take care of her little girl. Together, they moved into a sober living program where she got the support and structure she needed and learned how to be a mom.
I'm a recovering addict. Like, when I gave birth to her, I didn't know nothing about being a parent. I didn't know nothing about getting in recovery, but I never stopped trying. I always went into program after program after program, trying to, prove to her and my family that I wasn't gonna stop until I got better.
When Harmony was 2, Crystal had another baby, a little boy named Jameson. And from the sounds of it, Harmony loved being a big sister. She always wanted to help change Jameson's diaper, feed him his bottle. The two were very close. And it's a good thing they had each other because their young life was about to get really hard. For so many, the road to sobriety isn't linear. It's filled with slip-ups and setbacks, and that was the case for Crystal. In July of 2018, she relapsed and began using drugs again, eventually leading to her losing custody of Harmony and Jameson. Together, they were placed into the Massachusetts foster care system, where they cycled through homes. At first, they were able to stay together, and being the loving big sister she was, Harmony looked out for Jameson, refusing to leave his side. Unfortunately, the two wouldn't get to stay together, because in February of 2019, a Massachusetts court granted Adam full custody of Harmony. So she left Jameson behind, with her favorite toy, a Tickle Me Elmo, to bring him comfort. Who is Adam Montgomery? And where had he been while Harmony was growing up with her mom? Coming up, we're gonna take a look at Adam's violent past that has many people asking how someone suspected of murder could ever get custody of a child. But first, if you enjoy the true stories of real missing people, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. So, did Harmony's birth inspire Adam to get sober like it had with Crystal? Well, by the time Harmony was born, he'd be sober, but not necessarily by choice. Adam was in jail facing some pretty serious charges. Back on January 24th of 2014, just 3 months before the birth of his daughter, Adam had arranged to meet a man named Robert Jacobs to buy heroin. Instead of paying, he pulled out a gun and demanded Robert hand over the drugs. And when he didn't, Adam shot him in the head and fled the scene. Thankfully, as he pulled the trigger, Robert swatted the gun away. So instead of killing him, the bullet hit his jaw and exited the left side of his face. So a few weeks later, on March 5th, instead of preparing for the birth of his daughter, Adam was arrested and booked into jail on charges of armed robbery and assault with attempt to murder. He was held without bail and ended up making a deal where he was sentenced to only 18 months in prison. So while Harmony was starting out in life and Crystal was working to get sober, Adam would be behind bars. If you're thinking 18 months for attempted murder seems low, you're not alone. How did Adam get so lucky? Was it just his first offense? Oh no, Adam's run-ins with the law didn't start here. His record goes all the way back to 2006, when at just 16, he was charged with possession of a dangerous weapon on school grounds. And from there, each crime was worse than the last. Yet, he continued to just get a slap on the wrist. In 2007, he was charged with simple assault and burglary when he followed a 15-year-old girl into her home, took her cell phone, and told another female friend to punch the victim in the face. But those charges were dropped after he took a no-contest plea. Next.
Of course, the more and more and more that you did things and you continue to get away with it, these kind of people, they tend to think that they can outdo anyone.
Next, he was charged with criminal threatening and given a year behind bars after he pulled out a knife on his 15-year-old girlfriend. But after 3 months, he was released early. In 2008, Adam was charged with first-degree assault and reckless conduct after he stabbed a teenage boy in the leg and pushed him out of a moving vehicle. All because he believed he was sold fake drugs. He also broke into an apartment and demanded money from 2 women at gunpoint. Adam made a deal for both of these incidents and received only a 4-year prison sentence. And yet again, he didn't serve the full time. In fact, he was out in just over 1 year. Based on his actions, it sounds like we're lucky this violent man didn't kill anyone. Or did he? Your
Adam Montgomery, the prime suspect in an unsolved murder in Lynn.
Well, what an eye-opener this was. What we've learned is that back in 2008, in February 2008, Adam Montgomery allegedly was involved in a homicide in Lynn outside of a convenience store. And what Lynn police are telling me is that ever since, almost from day one, Adam Montgomery has been a suspect in this case. So what happened was a 28-year-old victim here was found shot to death in the parking lot of that what was once a White Hen convenience store, that Adam and two members of his family had crossed paths with the victim earlier in the day and had made plans to meet up again at that convenience store. And the result of that was this deadly gunfire.
How did a man with this kind of violent past get custody of a 5-year-old girl with no strings attached? Who made that decision? And would little Harmony be safe with her father? Or would she just be the next target of his violent tendencies?
Unfortunately, kids pay the price for others' evil. And sadly, little Harmony did as well. Now, I want you to, from here, right here, is where you start paying attention to those close details. Because remember, mom lost custody. Dad wasn't in the picture too much. He was in jail a lot. But let's pay close attention to what happens next.
By the time Harmony was in foster care and the courts were considering placing her with Adam, he'd been out of jail for 3 years. It sounds like after Adam got out of jail, he made an attempt to clean up his life. He married a woman named Kayla, and together they had a son who was 1.5 years old and had another on the way. Kayla's mom has said that at this time, Adam seemed to be a good guy who loved his kids and came off as very charming. But things didn't stay that way.
And Adam, for the first couple of years, was some sweet guy, and he's not. He is pure evil. He is pure evil.
Adam and his family were living in a house on Guilford Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Around this time, New Hampshire was being called ground zero for the opioid crisis. This was putting an enormous strain on the police, first responders, and child welfare services in the state. It also meant that even if Adam was trying to stay clean, temptation was all around him. Temptation he would eventually give in to. So what happened? How could a court decide that a known drug addict...
Look at that smile on her face. My goodness. And she looks just like her daddy. I can't imagine doing something so horrible to your child that looks just like you.
with a history of violent tendencies should get full custody of a 5-year-old girl. Typically, we don't know a lot about child services or family court decisions because they hide behind privacy laws, not sharing any information with the public. But because of the attention this story has received, the state of New Hampshire did an audit of their state agency's handling of Harmony's case and released a report with the findings to the public. This has shed some light on what led to the decision for Adam to get custody. More importantly, what they failed to do to protect Harmony.
What? The Department of Children's Services failed to protect a child. You heard that right, folks. We seem to hear that quite a lot. Yes, her right eye was blind. Yeah, she was blind in her right eye for sure, but she still was so stinking cute. Listen to these details, folks, and how Children Protective Services let down that precious little girl.
Because Harmony was in foster care in Massachusetts and Adam lived in New Hampshire, agencies from both states would have to work together. There's a process for this that's been adopted by all 50 states, and the first step is to conduct a home study. So on December 19th of 2018, Child Services in Massachusetts contacted the New Hampshire agency requesting they perform this home study on Adam and Kayla. But because this request lacked the information needed to initiate a home study, New Hampshire sent an email back the very next day asking for that additional information. And they never received a response. So a home study was not conducted. Then in February of 2019, for reasons unknown, without this vital piece of information, the Massachusetts courts just granted Adam full custody and placed Harmony with him without any plan for ongoing monitoring or support.
So, two different states trying to work together for the protection and safety of a child that is in foster care. She was with her little brother that she loved and cared for and nourished her own little self. She was removed from that foster care beside her brother and taken and put to live with her father. Even though there was no home study done, there was no cases looked into, nothing about his past was ever talked about, questioned, or checked up on. Just wait, guys. It gets worse.
Since Harmony's story broke, Massachusetts has taken an incredible amount of criticism for this. As they should. Even New Hampshire's governor wrote a scathing letter condemning this decision and slamming the agency for their negligence. But just because the fault here lies with Massachusetts doesn't mean New Hampshire's blameless. Their child services agency would receive numerous calls reporting Harmony's suspected abuse, and they also failed to protect her. How did Harmony adjust to life with her dad? Would Adam stay clean for his growing family or fall back into old habits? What did he have to say when Harmony was later spotted with a black eye? Just a month before the courts granted Adam custody, Kayla gave birth to their second son, making them a family of 5. We don't know for sure if Adam was still sober or where he was working, though it is reported he had a job when he was granted custody. But there are signs he and Kayla were struggling financially, including the fact that they were receiving food stamps. In March, they added Harmony to Kayla's account, increasing the monthly benefit they received. And this would later be used by police to put pressure on Kayla as they investigated Harmony's disappearance. While Harmony was settling into life with her dad, Crystal was still trying to get sober. She was doing her best to work with Adam on visitation and would talk to Harmony over the phone. But on April 21st of 2019, just before Easter, Crystal would see Harmony for the last time over a FaceTime call.
What was the last?
2019. Okay? Keep that date in mind. April of 2019 was the last time Harmony Montgomery's mother actually had eyes on her daughter. It's crazy, folks. Yes, they did. Yeah, Diana, it's crazy. Crazy.
FaceTime, like during Easter of 2019.
Chaotic. He kept muting it. She just looked terrified and lost. Her whole entire body language had shifted in 2 months of him having her. She went from being like my happy, like talkative, funny, sassy little girl to a shell.
Could Adam's erratic behavior mean he's using drugs again? While we don't know for sure, there are signs that Adam was starting to unravel and that his financial situation was becoming more dire. As summer rolled around, his family started to notice that he was selling his personal belongings on Facebook, and they began to express concerns about his treatment of Harmony. Adam's brother Michael would later report to police that during his last visit with Adam, he observed him being short with Harmony and was concerned that he was being physically abusive towards her. But as his family members would express those concerns, Adam would cut them off, refusing to communicate.
Reporter Jason Long.
So, cutting off other family members, refusing to communicate with them. Keep these red flags in mind, guys. Keep these red flags in mind and see if you don't see some that we're talking about actually today. And hey, Retha, so glad you got to join us.
I spoke with Harmony's maternal grandfather, who told us he reached out to authorities for help.
The system's failed. I have called numerous times.
Jason also spoke with Harmony's great uncle, who reported her black eye to police. The mother of Kayla Montgomery here, that's Harmony's stepmom, says she too raised red flags. And our Bob Ward caught up with Harmony's great aunt, Erin Montgomery, that she was hanging flyers.
My family made numerous reports of concern for her safety, and the system did nothing, and they left her there. It's every family's nightmare, right?
Another family.
Numerous reports for that child's safety. Numerous reports. Boy, I think we've heard that before. And yet nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing was looked into. The child had a black eye. They didn't look into it. It's crazy.
Family member who has publicly expressed concerns is Adam's Uncle Kevin, and he's had some shocking things to say about his nephew's treatment of Harmony. Kevin told police that he believed at the time Adam had relapsed on drugs, and that the things he saw were so bad he reported them to New Hampshire's Child Services. Kevin claims that he witnessed Adam discipline Harmony in what he deemed to be an abusive fashion. This included her getting spanked hard on the butt, being forced to stand in the corner for hours, and to scrub the toilet with her toothbrush. Then, in late July of 2019, he saw Harmony with a black eye.
Investigators say Adam struck Harmony in the face, causing a black eye in 2019. Kevin Montgomery, Adam's uncle, was visiting the home around that time.
I walked in the house and Harmony had a black guy like you see in a boxing match between two men. He bashed her around the apartment with his exact words.
According to court documents, Kevin says he and other family members made multiple reports to New Hampshire's Division for Children, Youth, and Families.
And I don't know how they missed the black guy that I saw.
Surely once Child Services learned about Harmony's abuse, they took her from her father, right? Wrong.
Wrong. They see the abuse. It's been reported, and the child remained in the home. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me how these children continue to slip through the cracks. Hey, Pink Warrior. So good to have you.
Coming up, we're going to take a look at how the agency responded to Kevin's calls about the black eye, the warning signs that Harmony was in danger, and her last official sighting before she vanished. On July 29th of 2019, Child Services received a call from an anonymous caller who was concerned about Harmony's black eye, same black eye that her father admitted giving her. This sparked an investigation into Adam, but after the social worker visited his home, they reported that they did not observe an injury on the child consistent with a black eye. Remember, this was a week after the incident, so the black eye had probably faded. Plus, the report says the assessment was done as Adam and Harmony were entering their vehicle and departing, so who knows if the social worker even got a good look at her. That same person returned on August 7th for a full assessment and documented seeing signs of a healing black eye, so it's hard to put much faith in their powers of observation. During this visit, Adam and Harmony both told the social worker that the mark was caused by horseplay with another sibling when a toy struck her near the eye. Between August 7th and October 1st of 2019, Child Services made 3 additional home visits. 2 of them were unannounced to check in on Harmony and her siblings. They observed that the children appeared to be happy and healthy and concluded that the allegations of abuse were unfounded, but the situation was scored as high risk for future child welfare involvement. So on October 17th, they sent Adam and Kayla a letter letting them know that they were closing the case. This was just 6 weeks before Harmony would disappear. Now, if you just read that timeline laid out by New Hampshire's report, you might think they did everything they could. They checked in on Harmony multiple times, and they would have had no way of knowing Harmony was in danger. I can see how you would think that. That's what they want you to think when you read this report. But let's take a look at some additional information from this timeline. We know that while this investigation was going on, Kayla and Adam got evicted from their home on Guilford Street. The house had been foreclosed on, and in August, it was sold at a public auction. But the family continued to live there illegally after being evicted. And while they were squatting in this house, it was filled with trash, had no electricity, just a gas generator powering a couple of appliances. We also know that Adam and Kayla would get into altercations, which included screaming at each other and the children at 3 a.m.
News 9 Investigates obtained service calls and police reports for that address from 2018 to 2021. Officers were called to that house 29 times. 4 of those indicate DCYF was notified. An incident report from 2019 describes clutter and trash in every room, and power had been cut to the house.
So the police reports say things like, there's trash everywhere, and the area was disheveled, and adults are fighting, and we've been getting quite a few calls about this address. But were these reports by the police mentioned in the New Hampshire audit? No, they were not.
All of these signs, there's so many red flags in this case that it is absolutely crazy. They got evicted from their home, but wouldn't move out. All of their utilities were turned off, and they continued to live in this home and continued to get called on. The Department of Children's Services were getting reports, and yet nothing was ever done to help those children.
People were calling the police to report their concerns for these children. Yet a trained social worker was showing up and saying, yep, everything here looks good. Based on the reports by the police, they had to have known the family was living in the home illegally. Not to mention it was full of trash, didn't have working electricity, and the owners were up playing music and fighting at 3 a.m. There were so many signs of drug use by the parents here. Were they drug tested? We don't know. That's not in the report either. But Child Services simply closed the case with no follow-up. In fact, it was 2 days after they sent the letter to Adam on October 19th when Adam's uncle Kevin would request a police escort to go retrieve some belongings from the house. The police report documents seeing Harmony during that visit. And over 2 years later, when they would open her missing persons case, they would use this as the date of Harmony's last official sighting. So what happened to Harmony?
So October 19th was the last official sighting of Harmony Montgomery. Yeah. Diana says, in the courts, the officers wanted the CPS to be held accountable for not protecting Harmony. And I agree. It is their job to protect these children, and yet they're failing these kids repeatedly. But let's finish this up and listen to this, and then we're going to hear a little bit from Duty Ron, what he had to say about the Department of Children's Services there.
After Uncle Kevin saw her for the last time. And what story did Adam start telling people about why his daughter was no longer around? After receiving notice that the U.S. Marshals were coming to evict them, Adam and his family finally left the house they'd been squatting in on November 27th, the day before Thanksgiving. By this time, Adam had completely cut off communication with his family. Kayla had asked her mom if they could move in, but was told her lease wouldn't allow it. So with nowhere else to go, Adam and Kayla, who was 7 months pregnant at the time, and their 3 kids were homeless, living out of 2 cars in Manchester's North End. At first, the police didn't know if Harmony was still with the family, but later discovered one additional sighting of her after they left the house on Guilford Street. Kayla's mom, Christina Lubin, remembered seeing Harmony when the family stopped by on the day after Thanksgiving. This was the only time she'd ever met the little girl.
She looked clean. She didn't look any bruises or anything. Extremely polite, very cute. She pretty much sat on the couch. It was very brief.
And as far as we know, that was the...
Now that is the stepmom's mother and her account of showing to the world that she saw Harmony and she was fine. Not sure if I believe the mom or not. It's not my place to judge that. But just the day after Thanksgiving,
last time anyone besides Adam and Kayla saw Harmony, because by the time Christina saw the family again on December 6th, Harmony was gone. So how did Adam and Kayla explain Harmony's disappearance? Kayla said that sometime during the week after Thanksgiving, Adam said he was going to drive her to Massachusetts to Crystal's house so she could go live with her mom. The next week, when Christina sees Adam and Kayla without Harmony and asks where she is, she's also told that Harmony went to live with her mother. And given their situation, it seems believable. So that's where Christina thought she was, until December 31st, 2021, when Harmony's disappearance made front page news.
So 2019 was the last sighting of this young girl. It wasn't until 2021 that her case finally got brought out. So much has been hidden and covered, and they just continue to get away with things. I'm telling you, this is a story that fuels a narcissist with all these behaviors, because they can get away with what they want. They feel that.
What brought Harmony's case to the attention of police? And what made the police so desperate that they had to enlist the help of the public? 2 days before the press conference that brought Harmony's case to the attention of the public, Crystal sent an email to the mayor of Manchester with the subject line, "My daughter is missing/in danger and DCYF won't help." In it, she details how she can't find her daughter, who's supposed to be in the custody of her father, and how, despite a number of red flags, Child Services is not helping her. She ends her email by saying, "Please, I'm begging for help in finding my daughter," before she ends up like that little boy who just passed away due to neglect through the department. And she said that her next step is to go to the media. Crystal was referencing Elijah Lewis, the 5-year-old boy who just a month before had been found dead in a Massachusetts state park after New Hampshire's Child Services contacted police, letting them know they were unable to locate him. Elijah's death had already caused public outrage, directed at the child welfare system's tracking of young children. While Crystal received a pretty generic response to her email, what she didn't know is that behind the scenes, things were already happening. Maybe it was the reference to Elijah Lewis or the threat to go to the media, but something in her email must have struck a chord, because the mayor's office forwarded it to the Manchester Police Department, who, just over a month before, Crystal had already contacted to report Harmony missing. According to the police, she had reported that Harmony's father, Adam, had sole custody, but she hadn't seen her daughter in over 6 months and believed her to be missing. In response to that call, the police reached out to Child Services, alerting them to the concerns that Harmony was missing and asking them to look into it. Child Services began their own investigation. And when they too were unable to locate Harmony, they contacted police to express their concerns for her safety. And on December 27th, this call is what triggered the police department to open an official investigation into Harmony's disappearance. They put out a bulletin so the entire force was on the lookout for Adam. And that very day, officers began interviewing family members, asking about Harmony. So by the time Crystal's email was forwarded to them the next day, they were already beginning to realize that nobody had seen or heard from this little girl in over 2 years. And it was knowing that they were so far behind in finding out what happened to Harmony that pushed them to hold the press conference on the 31st and enlist the help of the public.
Nobody's seen this young girl since late of October 2019. That's why I'm here today, because we need assistance, we need help. That is kind of why I wanted to do this, all right, to bring the focus to this little girl right here. I'm imploring, I'm asking, even I'll go as far as I'm begging the community, all right? I don't care if you saw this young girl a year ago and you think it's irrelevant. Call us and let's chase down every possible avenue with the hopes of finding Harmony.
While the police look for Adam, all eyes turn to Crystal. Why was she just now reaching out for help to find her daughter? Police had to look at Crystal and see if there was any truth to Adam's story that he took Harmony to live with her. Crystal claims that Adam never even contacted her, let alone brought Harmony to her home. During their investigation, the police talked with Crystal's boyfriend who backed up her story. He lived with her at the time and said that Harmony never came to stay with them. In fact, he'd never even met her. But why wasn't she looking for her daughter before now? It turns out Crystal had been looking for Harmony all along.
Everybody out there who's following this case, the big question is how could 2 years go by before anything was done about Harmony's disappearance?
When you're an addict in recovery and you've lost custody of your child, but you have visitations, they don't listen to you. They look at you like you're an addict. I know what all I did to try and find her and report.
Since 2019, Crystal says she's called Child Protection Services in both Massachusetts and New Hampshire more than 24 times.
It was the summer of 2021 when Crystal was finally able to track down Adam. At first, she thought he was just blocking her from seeing Harmony to be vindictive. So she reached out to his family for updates, but he had cut them off as well. So she continued her search, and eventually she discovered that he was living in a sober house in Manchester without Harmony. And that's when she realized something was very wrong. If Crystal didn't have Harmony, then Adam's story didn't line up. What did police have to say when they were finally able to track him down? And what part of their interrogation was so unsettling that they now feared for Harmony's life? On December 31st, 2021, the police were finally able to locate Adam. By then, he had split with Kayla, and the police found him and his new girlfriend sleeping in their car on Harville Street in Manchester. 3 of the lead detectives on the case showed up to ask him and his girlfriend about Harmony. The girlfriend claimed that she'd been involved with Adam for a year, and while she was aware that he had 3 children with Kayla and another from before that, she claims Adam had never spoken about Harmony, and she had no information about where she might be. So what did Adam have to say? Where did he claim Harmony had been for the last 2 years? At first, Adam told them Harmony was fine and that he'd seen her recently. But when they pressed him for more information, he changed his story to say that he had not seen her since Crystal came and picked her up around Thanksgiving of 2019. As the detectives continued to press, emphasizing that their primary concern was finding Harmony to verify that she was safe, he would stop answering questions, claiming, "I have nothing else to say." They noted that Adam didn't express much emotion or reaction when they told him that they were concerned about whether or not she was even still alive. He just stuck by his claim. He believed she was with her mother and repeated again, "I have nothing else to say."
Wait, what? A parent stops talking to the police? I've got nothing else to say? Yeah, we've heard that before too, haven't we? Red flags all over the place. And sadly, we know how this one turns out, just like we did the Gannon Stout case that we listened to the other day, where she's like expecting her apologies when this is all over and done with. Well, she didn't get apologies. Adam Montgomery didn't get apologies either.
After that, he refused to provide any additional information or speak with police, simply stating, "If I'm not under arrest, I'm leaving." Sounds like a concerned father of a missing child to me, but an absolute piece of garbage. The police weren't impressed with Adam either. So 5 days later, they arrested him. They still didn't know where Harmony was or what had happened to her. They were very bothered by the contradictions in Adam's story. Mainly that he told them Crystal had come and picked up Harmony because he told everybody else that he had driven Harmony to her mother's house. Because of this, they didn't want to risk Adam running free. So they had to come up with a lawful reason to detain him. Using Harmony's black eye that had triggered a child services investigation back in 2019, the police were able to show probable cause and charge Adam with second-degree assault. He was also...
What? 2 years later? And they could show probable cause for endangering a child in his home under his care. And that's where they began. maybe other law enforcement agencies need to pay more attention to how it should be done. Because when something is so obvious right before your eyes, the red flags are outstanding. This is where you start.
Charged with 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child and 1 count of interfering with custody. Because of their concerns over this case, Adam was denied bail, and at the time of this recording, he's still in jail. Adam's luck with the law had finally run out, but was it too little too late? Perhaps a clue could be found at the Guilford Street house where he used to live. And what lie would police catch Kayla in, implicating her in Harmony's disappearance, and eventually leading to her arrest? Coming up, we're going to take a look at the last leads police and the FBI have left, and what horrific thing Crystal thinks Adam could have done to Harmony. Their conversation with Adam raised more questions than it answered. So on January 4th, the Manchester Police Department and the FBI decided to search the home where Harmony last lived, the house on Guilford Street, to see if it offered up any answers. By now, the house had new owners who were living there, but thankfully, they were willing to work with the police, allowing them to do a thorough search of the home and whatever else was needed to look for Harmony. For 2 days, law enforcement searched the house, even setting up a system to thaw out and search the backyard, digging up any areas of interest, but nothing was found. Their next best lead was Kayla, who was the only person besides Adam to shed some light on what happened to Harmony over the last 2 years. When the police initially made contact with her on December 30th of 2021, she was no longer with Adam and hadn't seen or spoken to him in a while. Apparently, the two of them had split back on March 21st of 2021 due to domestic violence. When the police asked her about Harmony, she repeated the same story she told her mother, that right after Thanksgiving in 2019, Adam drove her to Massachusetts to go live with Crystal. And after that day, she never saw Harmony or heard Adam speak about her again. And yet, Kayla continued to claim Harmony on her food stamp benefits, all the way through June of 2021. When the detectives asked about it, she acknowledged receiving the benefits for a year and a half and said she'd tried to remove Harmony from the account but was unsuccessful. Further investigation revealed notes from Kayla's caseworker that contradicted that claim and raised some suspicion. In January of 2021, while renewing her benefits, the caseworker noted Kayla seemed confused about whether or not Harmony lived there because she goes to her mom's every other weekend. It wasn't until 6 months later that Kayla actually removed Harmony from her account, telling the caseworker that she had moved back with her mother. These discrepancies were enough for the police to arrest Kayla on January 6th and charge her with felony welfare fraud for having claimed.
Folks, I'm telling you, there's ways to get these parents. There's ways to go about this. People who believe they've gotten away with things for 2 years. This is a 2-year span right here. They were confident. This lady was still getting food stamps for Harmony to feed her. But she hadn't been around or seen for over a year. All the bad will catch up to them. I promise y'all.
Claimed over $1,500 in fraudulent benefits. So did getting arrested and thrown into jail put pressure on Adam and Kayla to talk, give the investigators more information on Harmony's whereabouts? Unfortunately, no. Neither are talking, but the police continue to hope they will, and that one will turn on the other. For now, all the police can do is continue to investigate the case. They've been appealing to the public in hopes that someone will come forward with information about Harmony. And there's a huge reward. It's currently at over $144,000 for anyone who provides information about what happened to Harmony. There's also a 24-hour hotline, and any tips can be called or texted to 603-203-6060. Could all of this have been avoided if Harmony was just allowed to go live with her little brother? And is it possible that she's still alive? A few months after Harmony was placed with Adam, Jameson left foster care to live with Blair and Jonathan Miller, who planned to adopt him, making him their 3rd adopted son. In November, Jameson's adoption became official, and a story about it ran on the local news where Blair is an anchor. So why is this important? Well, it's Crystal's theory that Adam saw this and got the idea to do the unthinkable.
I feel like she's still here. I would know, and like I said before, my mother knows. I think he sold her because the same week that they're saying this happened, the day after Thanksgiving to December 6th, was the week after my son legally got adopted on the news. So he saw that, and I really think it's connected. I think like he got that idea from seeing that and was like, oh, I can do it illegally, you know?
What makes me the most angry about this story is that after news broke that Harmony was missing, Jamison's dad did an interview where he revealed that they had reached out to child services and expressed interest in adopting Harmony, along with Jamison. They wanted to keep the siblings together. So here we are today, wondering what happened to this adorable, sweet little girl. Did her own father do the unthinkable and sell his child for drug money? Or did a man known to have violent tendencies snap and harm this poor, defenseless 5-year-old? I honestly don't know which of those two options is worse. And now, we know that if the people who were tasked with watching out for her, to be the safeguards so this kind of thing doesn't happen, if they had done their job, they would have seen the numerous reasons why Adam was an unfit parent and why the situation she had been living in was not a safe or appropriate environment for her. And on top of all of that, they had a safe and loving home they could have placed her in. A home where she could have had the chance to grow up with her little brother who she loved, where she could have developed a relationship with her mother who is now sober and actively improving her life, where she could have just had a chance. While Harmony's story has been covered by every major media outlet, one that very few people are talking about is the story of Michael Vaughn, the little 5-year-old boy who mysteriously vanished from his home one.
All right, guys. Now, that right there, if you like cases and the overall view of what all is happening, that is definitely one to go check out. Like I said, the link is in the description of this video. So please make sure to go over there and follow. Super great stuff. Super great stuff. Next, we're going to skip right along and go on and listen to this next one with Duty Ron, because he talks about the Department of Children and Youth Foundations, I think is the name of it, the official name for Massachusetts there. But the DCYF is what they call it. But he talks about the workers' statement with the Harmony Montgomery case, and listen to what he has to say. Oh, hold on. Let's see. This exact same with Sebastian's case, guys. The top priority is the whereabouts of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We talk about it all the time. Where is Sebastian? That's my hashtag I use every time we do a stream about Sebastian. Number one, above and beyond. Where is he? Where is that young man? And, you know, sadly with Harmony's case, it turns out that here we are, you know, 6 years later, and her little body has never been found. Her father will not say. Yes, Diana, her mother went to the law enforcement many times over the 2 years, and they never followed up. Yep. One officer finally took her serious. And I'm sad to say, but I do agree with her because she was an addict and she lost custody. They didn't take her serious when she was the only one advocating for her child for 2 years. Well, her and other family, but that was her child still. It didn't matter, but she was trying her best, but continued to get overlooked. Sound like one of the parents we know about? Okay, remember 2 years. She had pretty much gone missing around 2019 in November, and this is 2021. And this is some reports. Listen to what he had to say about that department. Am I not sharing, guys? Oh my gosh. I thought I was sharing. Hold on. Thank you, Blue, for texting me and telling me I wasn't showing nothing. Could y'all hear anything? Could y'all hear anything? Oh, Lord. Let's see here. No sound or anything. Okay. Let me go back a little bit because he's going to talk right here about the Harmony Montgomery and the Department of Children's Services and stuff. Okay, let's go here. Sorry, guys. My bad.
Report from September 18th of 2021. That's before we knew what was going on with Harmony Montgomery, before the mom sent in that inquiry to the website for the mayor. It says, after a decade of working as a child protective service worker at the Manchester District Office, Dimitrios Tesauros could tell when one of his colleagues was about to quit. They stopped saying good morning as they arrived at the office. They grew quiet and they stifled the sobs, the stifled sobs at their desk as cases continued to pile up on them. It says that I can literally look at people's faces and their workloads, and I could tell who's going to give their notice next. This is a report from September of 2021. He developed the skill over time as teams of colleagues came and then rapidly left. In the last 3 years alone, over 30 Child Protective Service workers left their positions at the Manchester office in New Hampshire. The office employs a total of 44 Child Protective Service workers, and that means over 30 people left their position over the 3-year period. They only had 44 employees. The Manchester office is literally staffing-wise truly in crisis, he said. Now, this is September of 2021. How many of you here, just by a show of hands, how many of you here, now follow me, stay with me on this. How many of you here listened to what myself and Jennifer Koffendorfer said and showed? We showed you the director of DCYF and also the governor of the state of New Hampshire. Just by a show of hands, who saw this? The governor and the director of this DCYF office said that the office is in the better shape than it's ever been in 4 years.
Did you hear that? The governor and the director of the Department of Children's Services said it was in better shape than it had ever been during the whole time Harmony Montgomery was being inquired about, while they were receiving calls to go check on her because people were concerned. Kind of like Sebastian Rogers in his school. They continued to see the signs. They continued to call. The caseworkers filed reports and closed them. Let's listen a little more.
By a show of hands, who remembers? I talked about it in 2 previous lives. If you missed it, go back and watch it. It's eye-opening. So in September, that was a report, that was a live news report that I played from January of 2022. This is from September of 2021. The Manchester office employs a total of 44 child protective workers, and 30 of those 44, that means there was only 14 left, quit their jobs. They put in and they walked out. The Manchester office is literally a staffing-wise truly in crisis. Turnover is endemic in offices across New Hampshire, in a state that employs a total of 283 child protective workers. For the whole state of New Hampshire, there's 283, 44 in the Manchester office. 196 of those 283 child protective workers have quit or transferred out of their jobs since 2019, according to the data from the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services.
So from the time Harmony Montgomery went missing to the time her father was charged and they had him in custody, and all those times that people were calling, people were saying something's wrong, people were saying, hey, you need to go look, this little girl just got beat up and bashed around the whole entire room. Those were the words of his dad, her dad. This is what's happening in that department. And because this was happening, the narcissistic behaviors of her father continued to escalate because he continued to get away with it every single time. Guys, there's a pattern here, and our children are the ones being let down. There's a pattern that is happening where it doesn't matter who's calling out for help, the kids are not receiving it. And although these are two different stories, the little fine details are the exact same. People were seeing the signs, they were calling and trying to get help for one child. And those departments let them down 100%. I just wanted to share that little bit with you, but just to show how these children are being let down every time we turn around. When people are in positions to be a mandated reporter and they know they need to make this report and they need to get this in and all the things, and they do their part, but nobody else is following up, the kids are the ones that are suffering. The kids are the ones. And it is so very sad. So very sad. Yeah, Blue. Well, guys, I don't want to say you enjoyed this, but I hope you saw that things that you feel like are getting by, these people are getting by with things. These people are, being protected, and this already happened and they can't go back, or whatever the stories are being said with Sebastian's case. This right here just proves, no, they can go back. They can dig. They can take them in. They can do what needs to be done to get them behind bars. Bobby, how sweet of you. Thank you so much, darling. You are so kind. Let me get back up here real quick so I can tell you. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. It's really sad because this platform seems to be more worried about talking about people and how much they hate this person and how bad these people are because they have a channel and they speak their opinions and all the things. Now, seems like certain people have the opinion that I'm on drugs. Okay. The only drugs you're going to find in my system would be a Z-pack of antibiotics and some steroids. Lord. But they're more invested in other people's lives here on these YouTube streets, and they are getting down to the truth of the matter for these children, and these children are the ones that are the most important. Little Harmony has not been found. Her father will not give up that location. Her father is in control. They took their baby girl, this little girl, to their family vacation for Christmas to her grandmother's house. They said she was with her mom. There was an ice chest outside sitting in the snow that Dad had unloaded from his truck. Her body was in that ice chest, folks. Just like Diana was saying earlier, the stepmother would take her body to dad's work so he could put it in a freezer there. And they just continued and continued and continued to get away with it. And it's absolutely sad. So sad. Because all of the narcissistic behaviors with these parents become so important and so talked about and so controversial that it's these kids that get lost in their own case. And it is so horribly sad. I just don't understand why drama has become more important than a child's life and the truth behind it. I just don't get it. And I don't care what people want to say about me. They can say it all day long. They ain't worth my time. I'm not playing their games. Just like UA Crimson came in here yesterday trying to be an ass because she knows everything, by golly, because she got it from the mouth of the mother and the stepfather. 2 out of the 3 suspects. One of the suspects in Harmony Montgomery's case felt the need. He didn't need to talk anymore. He just got up and left. He didn't like the questioning, kind of like Sebastian's mother, right? So just like the rest of all of the missing children that are out there in the world, most of those kids come home. Most of those kids are found. Most of them are safe. There is that handful that happen to have been unalived by someone they don't even know. And there's the rest of them who were last seen with the parent. Last seen with a parent. And if you go back to all these cases that those parents have already been locked up and put away, you're going to hear the same stories we're hearing now in Sebastian Rogers' case. But why is it that people get so wrapped up in all the crap out here on YouTube and lose sight of the fact that there is still a 17-year-old boy that is missing? He's missing. Oh, but Lolly's on drugs. Don't listen to her. Okay. Whatever. I mean, you're showing how idiotic you are when you play that game. This is not about whether I believe the mother, the stepfather, or the father. It all goes back to the fact that there is a child missing. who completely disappeared. Poof, never to be seen again. And all the same red flags floating all over the place. That we just heard in the Harmony Montgomery story. And folks, we didn't even touch the bad stuff. We did not even touch the bad stuff. The red flags are everywhere in every case when a parent is involved. But they get away with so much that they feel invincible. And that narcissistic behavior, it grows. It grows and it grows and it grows. There is another creator, like I said the other day, that I've still been trying to figure out how to get in touch to see if she would be okay with me playing it, because I try to ask before I play anyone's content. I always try to reach out, just so that I can make the effort. And let's see here. Hold on. Let me go here. I'm going to play this for you, and I'm going to hope, and I will put this in the link for everybody. And I want you to listen really close. This is a person who knows things. This is a person who has had education in things. Oh, y'all just don't even interact with them. Not on my behalf. They ain't worth my time. They ain't worth my time. Okay, let's play this, because speaking of the narcissistic behaviors and how they get away with things and all that, hang on just a second. Let me pull this up, put this here. Listen to these words that are said. Oh, I gotta share my screen. Duh. I was fixing to do it again, y'all. Woo, it's been a crazy day. Okay, here we go. And this is a channel called Seashore Annie. And she just puts out very little. Bobby, look at you. Bobby come in gifting 5 memberships. Woohoo! We got 5 more to join us on our members live come Saturday. Thank you so much. Thank you. And let's see if this will play for us. See if we can't get this to play. To our new members, welcome to the...
Welcome to the South. We break that good stuff down. We got enough to go around. So can I get a amen? Welcome to the South.
Welcome to those new members. And Bobby, thank you so much. You are so kind and gracious. Love it when our family grows over here. Despite all the evil around us, we just keep trudging on through. Thank you so much, Bobby. That was kind of you. All right, guys. So let's listen to this. It's not very long, but I think you will get a lot out of it after all the things we've been talking about.
As much as I wish no one would ever go through this, it's real. This was Sebastian Rogers' mother talking about her reality of having a child who is missing. This was on Sebastian's 17th birthday on December 7th, 2025. Sebastian vanished whilst in his mother's care. Dog the Bounty Hunter released CCTV footage of Sebastian and his mother Katie Proudfoot having a meal at the Texas Roadhouse restaurant in Hendersonville, Tennessee on the evening of February 25th. They barely spoke a word. Sebastian, in my opinion, looked fearful. She talks of Sebastian maybe wanting to set up some kind of fund or scholarship for another child when he comes home. Let's pause and reflect for a moment. We are all different, I know, and it is not I who may be living through this trauma. I would be thinking of the possible PTSD my son may be living with and the complexities of what this actually means for Sebastian. Was he suffering from PTSD before he vanished in highly suspicious circumstances from a locked home, where law enforcement say there is no evidence he ever left the home? Did Sebastian even make it home from the restaurant? Let's talk.
To me, those are the two most important keys in all of Sebastian's whole entire case. How did he vanish from a locked home without ever being seen, without any evidence that he ever left? And the other question, did he really make it home? Those are the two key points here.
Talk about how safe Sebastian was at the home he shared with his mother and stepfather, Christopher Andrew Proudfoot, who was allegedly at work over 300 miles away that night. There were 5 CPS cases in less than 2 years. So was Sebastian already traumatized? In a recent photo, he appears to have bruising to his neck. I would be thinking about the trauma my son may still be living through since his disappearance. I would be wondering about the conditions my son may be living in right now. Who has him, and how is he being treated? I would be worried about what the many pages of confidential information Sebastian's therapist has, where they disclosed how he was basically ignored and not spoken to for almost 2 years at his home, about the disrespect and abuse Sebastian went through. We quite rightly do not know the content of the therapist's meeting, and we never should either. It is nobody's business but Sebastian's and his family's. I
100% agree with that. Whatever those reports say is none of our business. Just like Sebastian's journals that have been passed around to other content creators. Not over here on our side, of course, but others have read him. It is not their place to be reading his journals. But, you know, it's how some people play. They got to do what they got to do to make that money. Even if it means destroying the dignity of a missing child. And this is Seashore Annie. I will drop this link in the description as well.
Be considering if my son would ever wish to be in my company again, let alone carry out other people's plans for helping another child. This can all possibly be considered at a much later date, if it is what Sebastian wishes and is capable of understanding what this will entail. Recovery from PTSD can take a lifetime, and often there is no happy ending if we are being realistic. Sebastian may be nothing like the child you remember, through no fault of his own. How about focusing on your own child and the lifetime of dedication and support he may need? Loving, caring, nurturing kindness to aid his recovery. Patience, lots and lots of patience. Listening, lots of times where you do nothing but listen so you know exactly what Sebastian will need from you and others. Will you be emotionally available to meet your child's needs? Were you available in the past? What if he never wants to set eyes on his stepfather again, a man who has admitted to physically abusing Sebastian? The abuse was on the outside of his trousers, he told people repetitively. What do statement analysts make of this, I wonder? Will you make it known to Sebastian he can choose the option of never having to see his stepfather again, and will you be supporting him through it safely? Also, your own parenting skills and making sure your son is never disrespected ever again. The silent treatment is a form of abuse. It pins you down and suffocates you. It is mental torture of the highest order. No wonder all Sebastian wanted was friends. Well, he most certainly has his wish now. There are thousands of us who fight for him daily and have since he vanished. We all watched the lack of positive interaction during your meal at the Texas Roadhouse. I recognized Sebastian's body language. It spoke volumes to me. When you treat a puppy badly, one day it is going to bite back. Sebastian looked like a cornered and frightened animal in his interactions with you. He was at the point where nothing he did was ever right, and he was failing to understand your rules in a cruel game which diminished him as a valued human being. He was worn down by it all, wasn't he? And the more lost he was, the further he slipped away from hope, and the more he was punished. Do you recognize this in yourself too? What might be the common denominator here? The following is something I read when I was still teaching. I have kept it all these years as it describes a stepfather of one of my pupils in the special needs school I taught at. He was a violent, manipulative man who should never have had the privilege of being in the child's life. He wore the child down to a shadow of the child he once was, to the point the child was incontinent in his company. Fear can do this to a child.
Did you hear that, guys? She had a student who had incontinence problems because of the fear he was receiving from his father at home. But hey, it's not anybody's fault, right? It can do that to a child. 100%.
Parents' love is so important to a child that withholding it can cause a failure to thrive condition similar to that of children who have been denied adequate nutrition. Let us have a listen to the silent treatment and the games narcissists play. Now imagine, please, you are a terrified autistic child who cannot comprehend the rules of these sick games. The silent narcissist. It's an anxious, something just ain't right feeling that far surpasses any feeling of discomfort you might experience in, say, a normal dysfunctional relationship. This feels very different, although you can't quite explain it. And when you bring this feeling to his attention, the narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath is instantly defensive, blaming you for being an insecure drama queen and making mountains out of molehills. Worse yet, you're starting to say nothing when he hurts you this way because, well, you're not sure why. All you know is that if you push the issue of his hurtful behavior in even the slightest way, he will most likely punish you by disappearing for a week or two, or maybe more. It's time to stop and recognize who and what you are dealing with.
Typical narcissistic behavior of people who continue to get away with things over and over and over.
Passive-aggressive manipulation is often the most spirit-breaking kind of abuse, simply because it conducts itself in the background of your life all day, every day. Passive-aggressive behaviors are deliberate. Make no mistake about this fact. And the partner who inflicts this type of emotional manipulation for the sheer joy of seeing you suffer is the narcissistic partner. Make no mistake about this fact and learn about the enemy.
1. Narcissists will invoke the silent treatment upon a partner for days, weeks, and even longer, often with no explanation, as a way to control and demoralize their victim. Narcissists are fond of using the silent treatment as a cruel and unusual punishment for doing nothing at all. And from experience, I can tell you that the affect of this method of control is sheer torture. My ex-N of 10 years executed a narcissistic silent treatment about every 3 weeks, and sometimes sooner, depending upon how, I'm guessing, his other sources of supply were faring. Each silent treatment would last anywhere from 2 to 3 days to 6 weeks to 6 months before he hoovered back, or before my begging at his door and endless onslaught of desperation letters forced him to give in. The silent treatment for my ex and for many others is a powerful narcissistic ploy and/or tactic, and it gets the point across. 2. No matter how he goes about it, or why it happens, or when it happens, the silent treatment always sucks. The fact that the victim of a narcissistic partner rarely knows why they are receiving the silent treatment only compounds the mental torture. I remember reading an article where the writer described the narcissist's silent treatment as particularly demoralizing because the N is clearly making a statement, in unspoken terms, of course, that you, the recipient, aren't even worth acknowledging, aren't worth a moment of his time, that in fact you are a worthless piece of shit in the narcissist's eyes. How true that is. How long will the silent treatment last is always the big question. Will it go on for a day, a week, a month, or even longer? Not knowing when it ends is intended to invoke anxiety in the person on the receiving end, and it does. The longer it lasts, the worse the separation anxiety becomes, and the more likely you are to feel depressed, jealous, confused, isolated, unworthy, etc. The more desperation we feel, the harder it is to follow the no contact rule and give up the need for closure. We become the puppet that he intended to create, and he becomes the narcissistic puppeteer. The silence is meant to hurt you. It is meant to teach you a lesson. And make no mistake, the silence is always a way for the narcissist to buy himself some free time for hustling up new sources of supply. 3. Most victims, like myself, will describe the days and weeks of silence as an agonizing torture that leaves us broken and desperate, willing to try anything and everything to get a response. If this means apologizing for the sole purpose of apologizing, even though we know have done nothing wrong, then so be it. When you're in the thick of it, the pain of the silence is far worse than the pain of being a doormat. Meanwhile, the narcissist goes on about her business until, for whatever reason, he feels his victim have been punished enough, or the girl he's seeing does something he doesn't like. When this happens, he will usually return offering no explanation, or at least no logical explanation, and he will expect to pick up right where he left off and as if he'd never been gone. So dismantled and dejected, the victim often demands no answers anyway, keeping her mouth shut and choosing instead to revel in the fact that her anxiety has passed. This particular response, by the way, is an intended result of the silent treatment so that the N gets away with the entire debacle. This is just another narcissistic strategy for managing down our expectations so that we expect less and less, and he gets away with more and more. Understand that a partner using the silent treatment for any type of punishment, let alone one for a crime not committed, is not normal under any circumstances. When a narcissist uses the silent treatment, it is just one more requirement he has filled in the overall pathological relationship agenda. No one ever deserves to feel unworthy of attention or undeserving of love and loyalty. No one. Not even one time.
Never, ever does a person need to feel unloved, especially from a parent in the home where that child is living. Oh my goodness. Just the thought of what's being said here. Oh, Retha, I am with you 100%. This video is priceless with knowledge about the subject. Exactly. She did an amazing job. It needs to be heard. And thank you, Daniel, for getting a t-shirt. How exciting for you. And to Kelly for sending me that little donation. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
4. The narcissist puppeteer, creating your reality. The narcissist is a master puppeteer and you're the puppet. He basically creates your reality so that it suits his purpose. He trains you to do things his way and to feel the things he wants you to feel so that he can get away with whatever he wants. He manages down your expectations so that you expect less and he gets away with more. The narcissist isn't stupid enough to think that there won't be repercussions from his puppet, particularly in the very beginning, aka before you've been trained. For those times, he has passive-aggressive punishments in place that suit his purpose, such as disappearing or giving the silent treatment and cold shoulder. As you'll notice, all three of those punishments involve no accountability on his part, because for all intents and purposes, he simply stops speaking.
Not his fault, right? Not his fault. Oh my goodness. All the excuses we've already heard. We've been vetted and cleared. But yet, there's still a suspect? Oh, yeah, because they haven't been vetted nor cleared.
The intention, of course, is that you, the puppet, will feel crushed and rejected and finally see the error of your ways. Ultimately, he'll never have to explain anything. The narcissist follows the order of a very pathological relationship agenda, where your suffering is his reward for a job well done. 5. The games narcissists play. I've decided to try to put together a list of games that narcissists play to help others recognize when they are being played. It is my hope that you can gather the tools and then the courage to stop playing with these evil narcissists.
The way she puts this next part, guys, pay close attention because, wow, you're going to see the signs clear as day. You know, crystal clear. Hey, Pooh Bear.
As yet, some don't have much description, but I will add to them as time permits. I suspect you'll recognize the games anyway, though. I've learned that they play the same games and use the same language, but the subtle language appears to be rather rote and common, which of course, if they knew you thought them to be boring, common, and average, would make them nuts.
Keep away. This is a game that you learn to play. They hate it. One of the most important things to recognize is that they will never cop to the fact that any games are being played, so it is up to you to stop playing. This means you don't try to bring up past stuff because you'll always be told you're wrong. They are right and you need help. You don't try to get them to acknowledge, let alone take responsibility for, their words or actions, because according to them, they didn't do it. Most of them literally cannot see what they're doing to you or will not see. They might, sort of, and quite grudgingly, appear to acknowledge that they've said or done bad things, but they'll never stop or change, unless they seek serious therapy, and most will not because nothing is wrong with them, you see. It's everyone around them. Yes.
For that picture of Sebastian sitting at Texas Roadhouse, just keeping all to himself and quiet, kind of speaks volumes after hearing this, doesn't it?
They might sort of acknowledge, but you will pay the price for your attempts at bringing the relationship into a healthy place. In their unconscious mind, they are dirty, evil, flawed, and horrible. They usually cannot acknowledge this fact, but are driven by a compulsion to make others feel the same way. They are filled with envy and rage, and trying to get them to acknowledge these facts will bring out a monster, with you being the victim they fully intend to eat. Remember, fake acknowledgement is only a way to keep you in the game. A support group or therapist is usually very helpful to those of us who choose to stop playing the games. Total NC no contact is the ultimate form of keep away and completely stops the games. But some people don't feel able to do that, and that's okay. We're each on our own journey and need to do the things that are the best for us in healing and learning self-care. If you are in a love relationship, you can walk away from the toxic narcissist in your life. If your boss is an abusive narcissist, you can find another job. You can walk away from your parents too, but you will get a different reaction about that from society, especially if you are a Christian. If you choose to stay, one way to stop playing their game is to not respond to jabs, barbs, pleas, put downs, and the like. It's really hard to do, but think of it this way. If you're playing a game of catch with a ball, the only way to stop the game is not to catch the ball when thrown, or not pick up the ball and throw it back. Of course, in a normal game of catch, most people won't try to stab you to death if you want to stop, which a narc will do in some way or another. But
Ooh, that almost sounded like the YouTube streets and how these other people play. They will throw it and throw it and throw it and throw it, and it just pisses them off when you won't throw back.
Is possible to stop playing. Just be prepared for an onslaught of negativity, accusations, and histrionics. Ignoring them drives them nuts, but ignoring inciting words, keeping your mouth shut and not responding to inciting words, hanging up the phone with proper notice, such as, I've got something I need to do, not slamming it down in fury, or leaving the location are all ways for you to refuse to catch the ball, or put the ball down, choose not to throw it back. This is keep away. You stay away, walk away, and refuse to play. You do not have the power to change them, but you can walk away from the games. You have the power to stop playing.
Do y'all hear that, folks? We have the power to not play. We don't have to play with the Mean Girl Club. We don't have to play with the adult bullies. And I personally choose not to. It's not worth my time.
Scissors to cut the apron strings are scissors you own, not the dull pair that don't cut, the ones that your narc mom owns. Daddy's toxic lap is one you can choose to step down from. If your spouse wants to play, you can choose not to. Lay down the ball, walk away, and enjoy the temporary rest. I say temporary because they will be back to play another day. They want their dose of narcissistic supply from you and feel eternally entitled to it. Only you can withhold that. They will do everything in their power to tell you that you do not have the right to stop playing. Only you can stop playing because they won't. Never, ever. You are the only one in the game who can play keep away.
Crazy eights. I think it's their favorite. You are crazy anytime you try to confront them, talk of past issues or behaviors, bust them in the middle of doing something awful, or just when they feel like being complete pukes. The game sounds like this. You are told that you have a very vivid imagination, that you don't know what you're talking about, that they have no idea what you're talking about, or that you're simply making things up to hurt them or cause problems. Because, you see, it's obvious that you are crazy.
Yeah, a narcissist likes to play that way because they're not the crazy one. You are, right? We've heard that. We've witnessed that. Covering these kids' cases and these parents that think they're going to get away with all of it. They believe their own crap. But it's quite the opposite because we have the control to not play.
Just ask them. They'll tell you, and tell you that everyone around you agrees with them that you are crazy. They will claim not to remember even very memorable events, flatly denying they ever happened, nor will they ever acknowledge any possibility that they might have forgotten. This is an extremely aggressive and exceptionally infuriating tactic called gaslighting, common to abusers of all kinds. Your perceptions of reality are continually undermined, so that you end up without any confidence in your intuition, your memory, or your powers of reasoning. This makes you a much better victim for the abuser. You'll hear words and phrases like, "You just took it wrong," or "You always take everything I say out of context," or "Why do you always have to live in the past? Why can't you move on like normal people? Maybe you need to see a therapist." Or, "You're remembering wrong, it didn't happen that way." Or, "I swear I am constantly walking on eggshells with you. You are so oversensitive." Or, "You're crazy if you think." "You're just imagining things. You are so oversensitive." Or maybe you should see a therapist. "I've tried and tried to help you, but you just don't seem to want my help. We really need to move on. This isn't healthy for you." Or, "I was there, and you are over-dramatizing the situation. It did not happen."
Or, "No, that's not how it happened. Let me tell you how it happened. Because I wasn't there. But let me tell you anyways, because I believe what I'm saying. You need to believe what I'm saying. That kind of thing.
That way. Or just ask so and so, they'll back me up. You are wrong. Or no one else in the family feels the way you do about this. So you need to just think about that, about what you're doing to us all with this constant drama and trauma. Maybe you should see a therapist. Get the drift? Basically, you are wrong. Your perceptions are wrong. Your memories are wrong. Any bad memories you have are imaginary. You need help. They're only trying to help you. No one in the family agrees with you, and so on. You'll also hear words like always, never, ever, constantly, forever, and other dramatic ways of expression such as, you always try to make me feel bad. I can't change the past, so why do you have to constantly bring this stuff up? Or you never seem to be able to. Or why are you forever doing or saying? Or I never did any such thing. You're just making that up to hurt me. Whatever it is that you are always, constantly, or forever doing usually has to do with you trying to get them to understand and take responsibility for their part in it. Whatever it is that you never do most likely has to do with refusing to play their game. You never give me the benefit of the doubt. Or you never give me credit for all my hard work. Or why can't you ever see my point of view? Why does everything have to be about you?
That's right. You'll know a narcissist when, your feelings aren't important. Why is it always about you? Because in their reality, everything's about them. Bobby says, I lived with one for 40 years. I just ignore him. You go, Bobby. Patty said, someone says you're too oversensitive. They don't care about your feelings. Run, Forrest, run. Oh, man. Are y'all finding any similarities in anybody that we might know about this topic?
This one is one of my favorites. Because if you've gotten them to that point of frustration by having the bad taste to bring up their bad behavior, their mask will slip. The one thing they hate is something not being about them. As long as they can be the wonderful one, of course. Anything bad about them simply does not exist, and you are crazy to think otherwise.
Death by 1,000 cuts. This is a really fun game all narcissists like to play. It involves shredding your soul, your ego, your accomplishments, and any belief system you have that does not agree with theirs. The way the game is won is for them to try to turn absolutely everything about you and everything you do into a complete failure.
Kind of like, he's so always up in your bubble, way up in your face. He eats and it's embarrassing to eat with him because he's so bad with it. He dances. Well, he tries to dance because he don't dance. He don't know how to dance. All the negativity in the things that they have said, Katie and Chris, to describe Sebastian. Yet we found those not to be also true. Seemed like he had grown out of a lot of that stuff. But hey, they know, right?
Extra points are given when they can take all credit for anything good that has ever happened and put it all in their pot. There are double extra points when they manage to put all blame for anything bad onto the other players. The pity party. I read on another blog about the pity party and they added, longest party ever. I laughed and promptly adopted it. It's so true for all victims. The neediness of a narcissist seems bottomless, does it not? Sheesh, they are so boring and their parties suck. 21. In this popular game, you are not allowed to ever reach 21. Even if you are 50 years old, you will still be treated like a child, a stupid child, a bad child, a silly child, etc. You don't get to have face cards, and if you get an ace, it's only worth 1 point. The King-Queen game. The most important part to remember about this game is that no one can know the rules except the king or queen. Either the king or queen gets to make up rules as they go along. They don't have to tell the other players and can change the rules whenever it suits them. They are, after all, the king-queen, and therefore always win the game too, even when you play fairly by that day's rules. You can be penalized for breaking the rules, even if they choose not to tell you the rules.
Kind of like when Sebastian didn't have a belt on and he was getting ready to go to school, and he was asked, "Where's your belt?" Sebastian replied, "In my room." He was told, "Go get it." Sebastian went and got it. Whack, he got a spanking with the belt. In what world does that make any sense? In what world does that make any sense? Was it mandatory that he wore a belt to school? No, there was no dress code other than the standard. Your skirt, your shorts can't be too short. Your top has to cover your belly. You can't do tank tops. But other than that, his school was just an everyday school. You didn't have to wear a uniform and get penalized if you didn't have one part to your uniform. But hey, somehow Sebastian got punished because the way Mr. Chris describes it, it makes no sense. So it must have been his rules that day.
Spite and Malice. This is a kind of competitive patience solitaire game for 2 players. It is also known as cat and mouse. The cards are arranged from low to high, with the kings being wild. Suits, normal order of things, and or common societal rules are irrelevant in the game. The game ends when someone wins by playing the last card of their payoff pile. The game can also end if the players run out of cards, in which case the result is a draw. This is one my son found for me on the internet when we were talking about this post, and the analogies are numerous and fun. Spite and Malice, or cat and mouse, is a perfect game for a narcissist because 1, it is actually a form of solitaire. 2, it requires one-upmanship and pulling out better cards to beat the other player with. Oh, how many times have you experienced this game, dear one? It involves a payoff, and for the narc, that usually means hurting you somehow. They keep track of real or imaginary things you do, have done, or...
I like how she puts this up on the screen. Did a bigger narc play poker with them on Friday night? What was the currency? Did they have a debt to pay? If we had $1 million, we would get him back. Those were the words. The last part, if we had $1 million, we could get him back. Really? What would $1 million buy? But those are the words of a narcissist. Plain as day.
or might do. This is their pile, and they nurture it, obsess over it, and dump it on you whenever possible.
Liar's Poker. All people with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, play this game superbly. They are consummate liars. Their entire persona, their world, and their very selves are completely based in lies. They are truly empty shells in most respects, except what is in the shell is truly evil, toxic, and ugly. The good stuff is all made up in order to get other people to give them praise, worship, adoration, and accolades, their much-needed narcissistic supply, their daily dose of fresh blood that keeps them going. Of course, other people have to bleed for them to feed, but who cares? They don't. The devil is a liar, and narcissists are his beloved evil children. 6. Trauma bonding and the narcissist. No one does it better. Feeling attached to a narcissist or sociopath, even though he treats us badly, is a constant source of angst, for those in recovery from toxic relationships. Victims want to know why. Why can't I just let go of this guy? Why can't I move on? Why am I obsessed with no closure? Why do I feel so connected to someone who feels no connection to me? One logical answer to this is that we're normal and they're not, and normal people want to fix things that are broken so that they work again. The problem, of course, is a narcissist can't be fixed because
Wait, what? A narcissist can't be fixed, folks. It's a proven fact. It's a mental health issue. They can't change their way of thinking. Over time, all the bad behavior that has been paid off, that has been overlooked, that has been almost rewarded to them, has created a bigger and bigger and bigger narcissist, to the point where people are so scared they're afraid to talk. People are afraid to talk and tell their true feelings because they don't want to be attacked. People are so scared to tell what they think and how they feel about Sebastian's case because that's exactly what happens. Because they have their own little army over there. They all run in the same circles and work together as a team. It's almost cult-like mentality.
he never was right to begin with. In essence, the narcissist isn't really broken at all. He simply is what he is, and what he is no good. This being true, what do we do after a discard, when we can't shake the feeling of being only half a person without him, of feeling utterly attached even when we're apart, and even when he's with someone else? Why can't we disconnect from the bad man? Well, there is an answer to this for those who seek a deeper psychological reason for the suffering, and it's a condition often referred to as trauma bonding.
Imagine if these were the kind of mental obstacle courses Sebastian had to try and navigate on a daily basis. Is it any wonder he looked like a broken soul in the Texas Roadhouse footage? When you look at all the evidence which has been gathered over the last 22 months.
Tell me that looks like the face of a child, a young man that's having a good day. At what point do people honestly believe he was having a wonderful dinner with his mother? Because I don't see it. I see the way me and my children all go and sit down and have lunch. Even in church, sitting on the same pew, my grown children, I have to tell them to stop and settle down. They keep wanting to be fun and be silly. We go out to eat and there's no phones in our face because we're too busy talking and laughing and cutting up. That's what having a good time is. But maybe Sebastian's family didn't quite get the memo on how to do that. I don't know. Whatever was happening at Texas Roadhouse, you didn't see him smile. Only he smiled at the waitress and the waiters that came by. He was being very polite. He looked concerned. He looked uncomfortable. He looked a little worried, and especially when he shook his head no, and the mouth movements were as if he was saying, I can't. I can't. And his mother wasn't too concerned about him. She was too busy figuring out who's all around the restaurant. We saw that. There was nothing happy about that time. I don't care how anybody wants to twist and turn it. You can see it with your very own eyes. You just got to have an open mind and watch him. He was uncomfortable.
When you listen to the pure filth that has come out of the stepfather's mouth, one has to ask how Sebastian was supposed to survive and thrive in such a toxic, abusive environment. Where is Sebastian Rogers today? I believe if Faith Sebastian's stepsister did not exist and is living with her mom and family in New Mexico, I believe Sebastian would still be at home. In my opinion only, and I'm not pointing the finger at anyone in particular, I believe the extended family are involved in Sebastian's disappearance or removal. I believe when Sebastian's mom stood in the lounge window in the dark on the night he vanished, I believe she either knew her son was leaving that night or he had already left. Whatever happened, it is my belief, based on the huge amount of red flags, that the family planned the disappearance. When Peter Hyatt, statement analyst, said Katie didn't know where her son was, I believe him, but I also believe someone in that family does know. What do you think? If and when Sebastian returns, should he be forced to go back to living in such a toxic environment? Do you think he would want to? Thank you for listening. The author of The Silent Treatment and the games narcissists play is author unknown.
Wow, that was such an amazing video that Seashore Annie put out. Oh my gosh. I couldn't wait to be able to share it. And I'm hoping that she's okay with me doing that because we learned so much from that one video. She put it into context to where it was like, oh my goodness. And folks, there is clearly a divide. Yes, Diana says, look at here, Crime Time Buzz had someone look at the pictures of CP's arms. It was verified they were not dog scratches, but they are human teeth marks. Allegedly. Oh, yep. Oh, yeah. Clear as day. And folks, I want you to pay attention because when you hear dogs barking, listen very close because I'm here to tell you there's only one dog barking in the background. There's not multiples. There's one carrying on, causing a ruckus. Retha, I'm so glad to hear that. I hope it helped. I hope something good came out of this. Because, of course, we have such a small group in here now. It's nothing mind blowing, no attacks being thrown around and all the stuff. But I'm telling you, if more people would concentrate on that young man and what his life was like and quit worrying about pissing someone else off. Quit worrying about somebody else being mad at you and attacking you. But of course, the bullies are going to bully. I want so bad to do good over here, and they can't stand it. Can't stand it. Do I have a temper? Can I fly off the handle? Can I play with the worst of the worst? Oh, hell yeah, I can. because I will stand up for myself. When I'm wrong, and I can admit it. When I put something out there, I can't say it's a fact if it's just a feeling. I'm not afraid to differentiate. But you see, we all live in the United States of America, those of us that do. And therefore, we have this constitutional right to voice our opinion. And I base my opinion off of the words that his stepmother and his mother and his stepfather and his mother have said, and the lack of. Sebastian Rogers, there is no trace, no evidence, no visual of him ever leaving his home. What we do have as a fact are CPS cases happening in that house. And yes, I have not seen the CPS reports. I have heard his father say, I had to get a lawyer, and the lawyer got the copies of those reports. There were reports. Mr. Chris himself has stated clearly, because of the belt incident, Sebastian went and told his teachers, and it was the same CPS worker that came back to their house again. He had to catch himself, but he let it known that lady had already been there before. The same one. You don't say those things if there was no CPS cases involved. And I take those things and I conclude, in my opinion, CPS cases were happening in that home, and it involved both parents, mother and stepfather. I didn't make it up. I didn't create it out of the big blue sky. But because I haven't seen the reports, I'm not supposed to speak on it. Sorry. Not sorry. His father's told us, and his stepfather told us, and his mother backed up the report that his stepfather stated. So yeah, CPS was involved. And conveniently, Sebastian disappears. Hearing the words that his teacher has said, his counselor, some things that she has seen on him physically. Sebastian deserved better. He still, wherever he's at, deserves to be found. End of story. It is out of my hands, whatever happens to Katie, to Chris, to Chris's family, to their friends, to anyone else involved. That's not my choice to make. All I care about is this young man whose voice has been muted for 2 years. That's my purpose for being here. And if people don't want to be here because we don't talk about all the drama and the hate and all the things and believe that, oh, Lolly's over here, she's on drugs. Okay, believe it all you want to. I don't care. Because you're not here for the right reasons anyways, if you're going to believe crap like that. You see what I'm saying, folks? There's evil out there, even amongst our YouTube community. There's evil. There's hatred so deep. It's affecting people's personal lives. Even I couldn't make that judgment call to call CPS. I couldn't do it. I passed it off to someone who knows about all those things and said, look, I can't make this choice because I don't ever want that to be something that comes back on me of doing it for hate purposes. That's not what I'm here for. And I took that whole situation out of my hands. Well, guys, come back tomorrow because we got some more good stuff to listen to, some more stuff that is being put together. Blue, I love you. You take good care of yourself, okay? Try to get you some rest. Okay? Guys, y'all remember each other in prayer because there's a lot of us that's just having a hard time during the holidays. There's others who are sick, and there are others who just have a lot going on. Oh, Felicia. Thank you. That's so sweet. He does know. God knows. God knows. 100%. Oh, Retha, you too. You stay warm too. But guys, listen, we'll be back tomorrow. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all so much. Hang in there. Be safe out on these streets. And I just hope that you enjoyed listening to what we listened to tonight. Take some of the pieces that you've learned and you heard and use those as education as you go on and listen to other cases. It's easy to judge off of your emotions. But we got to be able to do it with our knowledge. Can't be led by emotion because that'll just get you in troubles. So y'all be careful out there. I love you all so much. Thank you to those who have donated tonight. Make sure to hit that thumbs up if you don't mind. I don't know. Our channel's struggling, but we're going to keep going no matter what. But just know you guys, y'all matter to me. The one that did Harmony, it is called, let me look real quick and see if I can, here, I can do it this way right here. It was Stories of the Missing is the name of that channel. Stories of the Missing. And I hope y'all enjoyed that because she did such a great job. She did. And she capped that overview so perfect without going into all the gruesome horribleness of what really had happened. These kids deserve their voice to be heard. And let's try to do our best to be a part of that process. Y'all have a super great night. I appreciate y'all more than you could ever know. And until tomorrow, love and hugs, everybody. Good night.